What?
Oh, just your fancy gloves that you have. I remember yesterday you were talking about, oh yeah, I can work the touch screen.
They worked once and then they stopped working.
I've had gloves like that were supposed to work, and I don't know.
I was trying to explain to you the church butt flap.
That sounds like a bad name for a garage band.
This is one of my favorite sweaters. I love the color. I think it's.
Does it make your eyes pop?
I don't know. Does it?
No, but if I wore it, it would.
It would.
Actually, look, it does.
Yeah. See.
Yeah, all right.
But I call it the church butt flap.
The CBF.
Because
it's the Krisha and Frank show.
They make a lot of women's clothing.
Church butt flaps.
With church butt flaps.
Is that the name of the brand?
No, it's my term.
Oh, okay.
Because let's say you're going to church and you're
Is this going to be another one of those episodes where you stick your butt in my face?
No.
You've done it 3 times.
No, I'm just going sideways here.
All right, so you're going to stick it in the other face.
So you're going to church and let's say you're wearing some tights or something. So they make the back bottom half of a shirt longer.
Okay.
So it covers your rear.
Oh, all right.
So you'll see a lot of high-low. They call them high-lows. I think that's the actual fashion term for it, which is high-low.
We want to see your face.
Huh?
We do want to see your face. You
I know,
can sit back.
But it's a cover.
All right.
So I call it the church butt flap. And I love this sweater, but I don't like that it has a church butt flap.
Could you wear it the other way around?
Yeah, I'm sure I could.
Wear it backwards.
I'd have to name it something else.
Actually, don't. Come to think of it, don't.
But there's church fashion.
Well,
and high-low came from church fashion.
Jerry and I were, I guess, at Starbucks, or the Starbucks in it that has a Kroger in the parking lot. You know,
yeah.
Not in the but anyway, we were there, and it was the Kroger by the Suntan City. What do you call it? The bougie Kroger.
Bougie Kroger.
And it was a brisk day, and very windy. And we saw a couple of lampshades coming out of the Kroger.
Yeah.
And it just struck me, is that what you're talking about? If you wore it with tights or you wore it with shorts, would it appear that you had nothing on under the sweater?
No, not
because it's not long enough.
Yeah, it's not long enough. But
the wind blew to the degree where you could see these girls had on like gym shorts, like high school gym shorts,
like volleyball shorts, like short shorts.
Like there's no reason why you would wear those on that November day. It was
not if you're over the age of 35, but
no, they were college girls.
Yes.
I'm assuming, but it just seemed like they would be cold and uncomfortable.
Look, there are girls wearing some running shorts with UGG boots. I mean, I'm not judging. I don't care.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm
it's a look.
I'm wishing I brought my sweater today because I'm getting chilly.
It is chilly.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi.
Well, thank you for watching the Krisha and Frank show. Thank you for going to audibletrial.com/Krisha and Frank to sign up for the free 30-day trial and keep the book that you download, the audiobook that you download during that 30 days forever.
Forever. And thank you for subscribing to our YouTube channel.
That's a big
very
deal.
Important. Yeah.
My wife has been, I taught her the trick when you're sharing our Facebook posts. Most people just hit the share button and then it's just the random YouTube link with no explanation.
Correct.
There's a tiny little, barely visible gray down arrow. And I've taught Jerry that when you tap that, it gives you a choice to include original post or share link only. And she's now started including original post and writing a little funny thing about these two goobs. You should subscribe to their YouTube channel. And her motivation, of course, is also financial because we want
You're still unemployed.
We want to monetize the channel. She wants me to monetize the channel. She actually wants me to go get a real job, is what she said.
Yeah,
I mean, I should say a day job.
You're gonna have to.
Yeah,
I know. Go work at the club.
The club.
Let me ask you this:
What?
Having been regionally famous, and sometimes more than just regionally famous, I consider myself regionally famous for the time that I was on radio. It went away as soon as I.
Then I wouldn't be any more regionally famous than you.
But you've been in different regions, so I think that you have
I have
a much broader.
I have 3 regions. Well, but the other 2 regions have long forgotten about me.
I don't think so.
You can occasionally find someone who moved here to Tennessee from the D.C. suburbs or the Los Angeles area.
Ooh, which I might move there in January.
Which one?
Exactly.
Because if it's the D.C. suburbs, I'll let you slide because I've got family there, and anyway.
Anywho,
But
occasionally,
if you're going to move in January, you would naturally move to California where it's nicer.
Occasionally you'll get recognized or...
Yeah, someone will say, oh, you were Mr. Owl on KLOS, or oh, you were Producer Frank on the Realistic Plug and Talk on KROQ.
Right.
Or oh, you were that poor unfortunate soul that Don and Mike used to ridicule on WAVA.
So my question to you is, having that under your belt and have that being your status, that being the status that you, because it's a different status.
All right.
And,
so in improv, we do talk about status shifts.
Right. And so would it bother you, or would it be something that you dealt with if you went to work at the club and you were recognized as Frank the radio guy who now works at the club?
Well, I mean, obviously I would have to have come to grips with that first. I mean, when you said work at the club, the first thing that occurred to me is I guess I did work at a job where I stood on my feet for 4+ hours in a row. But that seems like a lot of standing and lifting and walking. Right.
Well, let's just take like the standing and lifting and walking. I'm talking about like, what I would call a plebe job. You're plebe now.
In my fantasy world,
which there's nothing wrong with. Tell me, trust me.
No, my plebe job would somehow still be more not retail as much as still somehow in the entertainment land.
Correct.
You could give me a job at Sam's Club, or you could give me a job with the exact same duties of putting, reshelving, restocking, selling, and take it and move it to Dollywood.
Right.
And even though the Sam's Club is 46 miles closer to my house, the idea of doing it at Dollywood with a name tag, it seems like you're a cast member, like at Disney World,
right?
Kind of. So that, I'm like, oh, I'm still in show business.
Yeah,
that's how I would feel about it. Because
it's a very weird shift, because I think I have definitely been guilty of, oh, so and so, did you see they're working at Pilot now?
Yeah,
and then it's been a very difficult thing for me to get past and accept.
But a lot of actors are also start as servers or go back to working as servers.
Right, which I came from acting land, but I got into media land.
Yeah.
And so there's that shift for me where I could care less. Like, if I could go back to Starbucks right now in a heartbeat.
There's a nice one near where you live.
There is a really nice one, and they're actually hiring, so I'm just saying. But to me, you come through the drive-through, you've listened to me on the morning show, and now I'm serving you your morning coffee. Like, my brain does this difficult thing, but to be perfectly honest, I don't care. But to me, when I worked at Starbucks, I got to perform all the time.
Yeah.
I'm on the drive-through, I would sing to people, and like, I love it.
Before I got into radio, people at the bank who came through the drive-through window would say to me, you should be on the radio because you sound really good coming through that crappy microphone.
Right.
That can understand you. And see, I guess, and that's more realistically, if we take the world of retail out of it, I don't have retail experience, and there's nothing wrong with food service and retail jobs. Nothing wrong with that. But if I were leaving show business,
what if you could be a consultant at Men's Warehouse?
I don't think I would be very good at that. I mean, I need Jerry to consult
I
me.
interrupted you.
I need a consultant to. I'm not following what I'm saying.
I do, but I'm sorry, I interrupted what you were saying.
What is that from?
What?
Is that a line from a movie?
What?
Be a consultant at Men's Warehouse.
No.
No, Jerry and I go to Kohl's, and she tells me what to buy. I mean, occasionally I pick up my own shirts at the club, which is where this one's from. But
what were you saying?
That I would probably end up with a job like at a public relations agency if they were hiring, or some kind of other, like in the communications department of something.
Right.
And I would be okay. I would be fine at it. But I would miss talking into a microphone or a camera.
It's a very weird shift, and that's, for me, those jobs are hard to come by.
Which ones?
Like PR jobs, media jobs.
Oh, okay. So when I started looking for work, that's all I could find. And there were openings, and people said that you should try for this. And I'm like, it's a little too soon.
Yeah.
I know I could apply for this job. Like, this is literally the weekend I got fired from radio. They're saying, oh, there's these PR jobs you could apply for right now. Hurry up. They're hiring now. And my friend Deborah ended up getting one of those jobs. Right. This is, literally, we're talking about this is... I hear about this opening, and then a friend of mine gets the actual job that we're talking about. So I'm glad she got it. I wasn't ready. I don't even have my resume fully polished.
Right.
Because I keep thinking, well, I want to just I want to give it another swing at media. I don't feel like I'm done at being on the internet, on the radio, on the television, one of those things.
And that's like, it's a very difficult shift because I have spent most of my entire life, much to the chagrin of my parents and my bank account, being a performer of some sort with the side job and the side hustle.
Like 3 years ago, you had that realization that you gave up on the idea of being rich to be an artist. Remember we had this conversation?
Oh, yeah. And
it was that Jayne Morgan and had this come to Jesus meeting with you.
It's one of the best things that's ever happened to me.
What is it? Well, we can say that after the commercial, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, and we can do that. Let's do a commercial because eventually I'm going to be able to buy a house much like Jayne Morgan did.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Is she in your neighborhood too?
She is.
It's Hutch and Howard. I was thinking that another job someone suggested for me was not real estate, but was insurance sales.
Ooh.
So you'd be great at selling insurance. I'm like, I don't think so.
I don't think so. But Hutch and Howard, if you wanted to become a realtor, you could talk to.
I would certainly talk to Rob.
Yeah, you could talk to Rob because they have so much experience. How many years combined?
Oh, wow. I was just thinking that they've been, the Hutch and Howard group itself is 10 plus years. Mm-hmm. But if you add in this at least 6 members on the team, so now you're exponentially higher. And they know their way around town.
They do.
They know what they're doing. They'll help you out with any number of things. Like right now it's a seller's market. I saw something on the news 2 weeks ago about home prices in East Tennessee continue to go up. So if you are watching this from California and you want to move out,
come on.
Or New York, the places that Krisha wants to move to.
Yeah, come here.
You might want to move here because she's leaving.
I'm not leaving.
Well, it creates room for one more.
But I'm not leaving.
If you leave, we have room for one more.
I'm not leaving.
All right.
Gosh.
But you can call Hutch and Howard at 865-966-5005. They're part of Keller Williams Realty, each office independently owned and operated.
Or hutchandhoward.com.
As you can tell by the floating thing. Mm-hmm. And the jingle from Dean the Artist, which...
You're buying or selling your home.
How about that, huh?
Trust a professional, don't do it alone.
I'm checking to make sure she lip syncs it right.
To the Sunsphere Tower.
Not the Sunsphere.
There's a knowledgeable name. It's Hutch and Howard.
She lip synced such Sunspear.
It's Hutch and Howard.
Your lip syncing was the wrong pronunciation of Sunsphere.
Because I didn't do it in an accent. It's hard to lip sync in an accent. Wait.
Let's see if you can do Sunsphere. Sunsphere. Fia.
Sunsphere.
But do you like the British shows?
No, the advice that Jayne Morgan gave me was, and she
runs.
She owns Flying Amble Theater and is a fantastic artist and brilliant mind and just dear friend. And she learned this from her own experience. And she said, the moment that I stopped trying to live outside of the box that I put myself in, life became easier because...
Wait, she put herself in a box, but then she wanted to live outside of her own box?
Because
I thought thinking outside the box was good.
If you want to be an artist, and you want to live as an artist...
Which I do if you count this as art.
You have to accept... Does this count? You have to accept that your way of life is going to be your way of life.
Right.
Meaning you're probably going to struggle financially.
Yes.
Meaning you're going to have to hustle.
Yes.
Meaning that you can't live...
What do you think I've been doing for all these years?
But you can't live outside of those means. That you have to accept... If you accept living life as an artist, you have to accept that your life is rich in many ways.
Yes.
And you are going to have to act accordingly.
Well, that's kind of why Megan's telling me write the book, because as you write all these experiences from all these places where I was regionally famous, there's so many. You said to me in one of the shows, I couldn't stop. I had verbal diarrhea, and you look at me and go, you were frustrated, and you said, "Oh, you have so many stories."
I wasn't frustrated. I thought it was hilarious because I was like, eh.
I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. It was a boulder rolling downhill,
and it's wonderful.
And I couldn't stop.
It's wonderful, but that's what I've been trying to do the last 2 years, and it's not easy because you have this idea of what life is supposed to be and the way you're supposed to live.
When people like the insurance guy, for example, who thinks I could be an insurance salesman, he calls up and now he's doing retirement advice, and he wants to sell me insurance and help plan my retirement, and I'm embarrassed to talk to him because he's talking to me as a middle-aged man who lives in the suburbs and has a wife and has kids and has all the normal things, and therefore should have a 401k with some significance to it.
Right.
Because in everyone else's view, you've worked in the same town, industry, job, whatever, for all these years. But in reality, is every 2 or 3 years, they pull the rug out from under you and say, oh, we've got a new owner. We're closing out your old 401k. Now we're starting a new one with the new company.
Yeah. And it's been very difficult to explain that to people who don't understand.
Right. So although it appears that I had one job for many years, I didn't. I had multiple owners, and we're trying to sort through this because after my mom died, we thought, oh, we need to, leave some paperwork for the kids, so they know when to do.
Well, it's a couple episodes ago I asked you what I'm getting in the will.
Well, nothing.
Exactly.
But we can work on that.
Yeah.
Because the lawyer says to me, well, what are you going to do with Krista?
I don't know. What are we going to do with Krista? She's been driving me crazy my whole damn life. So is Kristen and Trisha and Christy.
Well, she's interested in learning more about you. But she said, I said, we just started it because if we didn't start it, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
We just ran in head first to see what it would be like. And I had these dreams and aspirations, as you know, from the day one of, eventually we're going to have to do all of these different things, and we'll probably have to sign papers, say, look, this is what you own, and this is what I own, and this is your responsibility, and this is my responsibility.
Yeah.
So we're getting almost to
there.
That point.
Yeah, but
is it another manhunt? Oh no, that's just garbage. That's just it's garbage day.
But it's very, I've spent my whole life. My dad has said, "Why don't you settle down and just have one job?" It's never gonna happen. It's not. It's never going to happen. The longest I worked anywhere was Disney and Universal Studios, and that was because I was a contracted actor. I was making bank. I made so much money, but it was very similar to working in radio or any other media. Every year, everyone that performs and right now they're all unemployed.
Yeah.
Disney laid off, so there are no live shows at Disney, and they didn't just lay them off. They fired them via email. Really, they're so much better than that. They're so
like Kevin and K-Rock.
It's not cool, but every year you have to re-audition for that contract.
Oh, right.
Every single year.
Well, if you don't fit the part anymore,
right?
If you don't
gain
look like
a little weight,
if you don't look like Snow White anymore.
Here's a fun little fact: there's always somebody better and more talented and prettier than you. Always.
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 And so no. I will always be hustling. I'll be a server. I'll be bartending. I'll be serving beer. I'll be working some crazy job. People are like, "What are you doing now?" I'm like, 17 things.
Well, I
love that.
I can relate. I mean, people, when I tell people that I had 5 jobs, then one of them is the hobby of Einstein Simplified, but I treated it like a job because I love it so much.
Right.
And I would put in the effort to help promote, and we make tip money on that, which is tens of dollars a year. But I still, in my mind, I've got that's a responsibility. As was radio, as was television with PBS, which I maybe will do again next year, possibly, I hope. As was Bone Zones, which maybe, possibly will have live gigs again that I can see, but we don't. As was what was the show in Pigeon Forge I had with Kira?
That one.
Yeah, that one. I understand that what happened there went away. So this is it.
This is it. And
please subscribe to the YouTube channel so we can monetize the show.
But for me, like going back to that, asking you if you working at the club, and people will be like, "Oh my gosh, Frank," that really it doesn't matter because
I could shave the beard, no one would know it was me.
But doing what you love and having to, and I say having to work around that by working at the club or working at Starbucks or
being an insurance salesman.
You don't need to sell insurance.
I can't sell.
I feel like it would suck your soul. Sales is terrible.
I have a hard time selling ads for this show, so.
Because naturally, people like you and I, who are good people, and we like being out in public, it's a natural fit to go into sales because you can sell ice to an Eskimo, as my mom would say.
Right, but there's a difference between being the as Protz used to say, being the crystal or the brick. Mm-hmm. Okay, and if you're a true salesperson, you're a brick, and you can withstand the buffeting, the storm when people tell you no, I don't want to buy ads, because you don't really care. It's not your show.
Yeah.
You're the brick trying to sell ads on the Krisha and Frank show, and somebody doesn't want them. Who cares? But if you're actually Krisha and Frank, and someone says to me, I don't want to. Why would I buy ads on your show?
That's stabby.
Yeah, that's when the crystal cracks and the breaks, and you have to handle with care.
Yeah, and sales just it was such a natural fit, but it was also like I was great at it.
What did you sell?
Beer.
Oh, okay. When you referenced being the beer thing, I didn't.
Yeah.
Were you selling
selling beer
to the restaurants?
No, I was working for a brewery. So yes, I was selling to restaurants and to distributors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that during that 2 years that I didn't? We kind of didn't. All right.
Yeah, and I loved it. It was I was great at it.
Yeah.
I spent my whole day on the road selling beer.
Oh wow. Huh.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I guess there's that.
There's that, but
All right.
but it just wasn't a good fit. It was like a relationship. We just weren't compatible.
And you came back to me.
Here we are. Do you know where I'm compatible?
Where?
Right here.
Aw.
Yeah.
The Krisha and Frank show. We've got the Gmail account. I have to do something with that website. I got to do something with that. Anyway, I bought it, but I got to do something with it.
Something.
Well, I will tell you, the reason I bought it was to make more money, and there's a reason for that.
Do you want to talk about it on air?
No, I will tell you because the show's over. It's time, and we went over time.
Show's over.
So go to YouTube, go to Facebook, go to Twitter, go to Instagram.
The gloves are off.
Go to what's the other thing? audibletrial.com/Krisha and Frank. Go to all the things.
All the things.
Thank you. Wait, we have to do the a few seconds for the YouTube subscribe button. Where would you like it to be?
Today?
Yes.
I don't know.
The birds don't know that we're freezing. I mean, not freezing cold.
Oh, they know we're freezing.
We're supposed to be you're supposed to be.
Well, stop talking.
You're the one moving your hands.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, good. It's breezing.
I have to go put on a coat.